today, we're headed to a place called Gunung Kidul in Indonesia. It's a place where the land itself, well, it seems to resist life. But what we're going to uncover is this incredible story of resilience, of ancient wisdom, and some pretty amazing ingenuity that honestly holds a lesson for all of us. So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll dig into the huge challenge of just trying to farm in this region. Then, we'll explore this brilliant solution they call the integrated garden. After that, we'll look at the secret ingredient, these ancient local seeds, and see how it all comes together. And finally, we'll zoom out and see why this small-scale idea has massive implications for the whole world.
I mean, really, this is the big question, right? How do you grow food on what is basically solid rock? It sounds totally impossible. But the answer is this fascinating mix of ecology, tradition, and just brilliant design.
Okay, so to really appreciate how amazing the solution is, we first have to wrap our heads around the scale of the problem. Let's take a closer look at what makes this landscape so tough. Just try to imagine farming here for a second. The ground is mostly what's called karstic rock. Think of it like a giant limestone sponge. So any rain that falls, it doesn't stick around. It drains away almost instantly, deep underground, leaving the surface completely parched. Now, you add a long, brutal, dry season on top of that, and you've got conditions that would make pretty much any farmer just want to give up. So, how do you possibly get around that?
Well, it turns out the answer isn't to fight the environment, but to work with it. And this brings us to this really powerful local concept, the integrated garden.
In the local language, it's called pengelolaan kebun terpadu, and it's so much more than a farming technique. It's a whole philosophy. Instead of trying to force one single crop to grow, this system creates a tiny, self-sustaining ecosystem. It's all about intelligently combining different plants, bringing in livestock, and focusing almost obsessively on building healthy, living soil. The key here is it's all about synergy, not brute force. Now, for a system like this to really work, you need the right building blocks. And, the most important building block of all is the seed itself. This is where we get to the real heart of the story. Something called plasma nutfa. Plasma nutfa. It's the local term for what scientists call germplasm. The best way to think about it is like a plant's genetic library. It's all the hereditary information, all the history packed into the seeds that have been passed down for generations and generations. These are not just any seeds you buy at the store. This is the genetic heritage of the land itself. So why is this local plasma nutfa such a game changer? Well, because it directly solves the exact problems we were just talking about. These seeds have evolved right here for centuries, so they're already naturally resistant to drought. They're perfectly tuned to that thin, rocky soil. And using them preserves an incredible amount of biodiversity. It means you need way fewer chemicals, and it builds real, long-term food security. Okay, so we've got these two big ideas, the integrated garden and the local germplasm. Let's see how they actually come together to create a farm that doesn't just survive, but actually thrives. I mean, look at this contrast. It really shows the two choices a farmer has. On one side, you have the industrial monocultural way of doing things, planting just one crop. It needs a ton of water, it just strips the soil of nutrients, and it's basically a magnet for pests, which often leads to total crop failure. But on the other side, you have the integrated promise. It conserves every single drop of water, it builds healthy soil, and it creates this diverse harvest that is naturally tough and resilient. The difference is, well, it's night and day. So how does it actually work in practice? It's this beautiful, logical cycle. First, you start with the right seeds, that local plasma nutfa. Then you create living soil using every bit of organic matter you can find. You design the land to catch and hold every drop of rain. Then you plant a rich mix of species all together. And finally, you close the loop. You use what you grow to feed your family and your animals, and their waste goes right back into feeding the soil. It's a perfect regenerative circle. This story is just incredible on its own, but its importance, it goes way beyond one region in Indonesia. It actually holds a really powerful lesson for the entire planet. Just let this number sink in for a minute. 75%. In our rush for high-yield, uniform crops, we've lost 3/4 of the world's plant genetic diversity. We've literally erased millennia of evolutionary wisdom. And that's why the plasma nutfa, being saved in places like Gunung Kidul, isn't just a local treasure. It's a vital genetic library for all of humanity. And that, right there, is the big takeaway. The work being done in this small community is a powerful model for the future. It shows us how to achieve food security in a changing climate, how to adapt to really extreme conditions, and how to protect the precious biodiversity that is, quite literally, the foundation of all life on Earth. So, it kind of leaves us with this final thought. The farmers of Gunung Kidul found their answer by looking to their own unique heritage, their own environment. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What ancient seeds, what local wisdom, what hidden resilience is just waiting to be rediscovered, maybe right where you live.